Well, today we're going to do something a bit fun. And I hate to give this woman attention, but this blog post, this letter apparently from a former Gamergator, which apparently was not written by Brianna, for Brianna, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, she starts, I got this letter yesterday from a former Gamergator. It's honest, genuine, and shows his own personal growth. It's been lightly edited for clarity and anonymity. Okay, here we start. So with Brianna, I just want to say I have finally broken, and it's thanks to you, or rather, the treatment you have received since day one. I've tried to tell myself that it was all about gamers are dead articles, and the forums, for me, it always was. I don't even go online to game, so I never engage with people. But I was blind, some would say willfully ignorant about it, all in bold. I told myself over and over that the abuse being received by women such as yourself was not real, and I put it out of my mind, as I suspect many others have. Yes, because the police have turned around and said, yeah, that threat wasn't legitimate. It wasn't a credible threat. And are you just going to ignore? Apparently you're a Gamergator, so you should know fully well of the abuse many supporters of Gamergate has received. In fact, two people, recently an artist, have just lost her job because the anti-Gamergators didn't like her and contacted her place of work, and as a result she lost her job. So yeah. Anyway, she continues. Oh yeah, sorry, he continues. I distanced myself from any abuse I did see and wrote them off as fakes. But that isn't true, is it? It's more than a majority. I was wrong all along. I never abused or engaged you or others. I signal boosted, supported campaigns, and tried to stay away from their ignorance. Then you know all the good charities that Gamergate has supported, as well as some of the good causes, as well as, for example, the reporting of people that have been abusive. That is one campaign in particular, but you know. Whenever a confident woman comes along to have her say, in any way, she is shouted down and harassed by men like me. No, when women come along like Brianna, who say willfully ignorant statements and make blanket statements about a group of people that are factually and accurately wrong, and then people come back and say, hey Brianna, why are you saying this stuff? It's wrong, here's why. And then turns around and says, oh, that's harassment, or just flat out ignores any criticism she receives, then yeah. I can see how she might maybe get a harassment from people. And then this is good, because remember, this is in bold. Men who have it so easy. We are blind to the faults of society and its focus on men. And at this point you can tell this is either A, written by Brianna, or a supporter of Brianna trying to make her feel better, because, sorry, that's SJW language, and this entire thing drips with SJW language. We don't like to be challenged. Well, actually, many Gamergators do. It's your side that doesn't like to be challenged. But we should get used to it, because I have some news for you. You are winning. How? Look at the recent victories we've just had, and tell me how they are winning. You are winning, and these are the death throes of a petulant, selfish culture. When they said gamers were dead, I didn't want to believe it. But in its way, it's true. In bold. Ultimately, gamers are for everyone, and I agree, games are for everyone. And as more and more women are involved, the culture around video games, it will change for the better. If some obnoxious boys end up leaving, so be it. I won't, because I accept the changes. Yes, the video game industry is changing. And there are more women in games. That's good. There are more women making games. And as we've seen, that trend is only going to increase, because guess what? More women are taking courses on game design. That is good. No one is saying that is a bad thing. So how you've ended up with that idea is beyond me. But again, of course, this is not totally written by Brianna. I would say more female protagonist is desirable, but it would benefit these males to have a majority, even. And I agree, more female protagonists would be good, but the problem is, many of these female protagonists that they claim they want, they would turn around and hate instantly. Because, again, take the post someone wrote about Guybrush Threepwood if he'd been turned into a female. The SJWs would hate him because he's an idiot. He's, you know, he's not treated as the smartest brush in the thing. You know, he would be, you know, treated even worse because, you know, a male had to save him at one point, and, you know, because he interrupted a plan by the male. You know, so that would be, you know, females interrupting, you know, male plans. You know, making them look fools. Again, SJWs would hate a female Guybrush. Anyway, yeah. They have no idea what it's like to be a woman, and neither do I. And that's just not dripping with SJW language. But more empathy would follow, as would games with an abundance of strong, non-sexual, so this is definitely written because there's no way a Gamergater would care about this, non-sexual women saving the day. This all comes back to the argument. You break down all these arguments that these SJWs want, that the people like Brianna are making. They want to put women in a box. They want to say, these are the characters of women you are allowed to do. You're not allowed to do anything else. You must do it as we say and as we see fit. We want to dictate how the creative process happens. And unfortunately, you do not have that right at all. And again, Brianna Wu makes games. I would not go up to her and say, this is how you should make your game, because it's her game, it's her creative process. I wouldn't interfere with that. But anyway, it continues. In bold, it would at least stop them from thinking that they are the centre of the universe, which is what every average Gamergater thinks. No, Gamergaters don't think that. Brianna thinks that because, as quote Hot Wheels, Brianna, Gamergate is not all about you. He continues. So I am sorry for the way you've been treated. You are a beautiful, talented, intelligent woman who is worth 1 million of these people in Gamergate, myself included. I am no longer involved in it. In fact, I may just work against. Yeah, because that's not written by Brianna, or a supporter of hers. In bold again. I know, though, it is time for me to stand down from my pedestal and listen to women, to let them steer culture and not resist the betterment and balance they will bring. So basically, you're saying that men shouldn't have absolute no input in culture at all. Congratulations, USJW, because, I'm sorry, this was not a Gamergater that wrote this. You can tell purely by the language that's being used. This is SJW language. I wouldn't use this language. And this is the thing. This is either A, it's written by Brianna, it's written by her supporters, or if it's actually generally written by a former Gamergater, we'll get to that later. We'll get to my challenge because we're getting into it. Now, as I said before, you are winning. This is the long game, and as the media continues to side with the good guys, not really, they're just ignorant and not doing enough research, these people will simply end up bickering as they do amongst themselves and have less and less influence. They will fade out, leave, or change. Here we go, in bold again. People are getting more and more despondent, and it is your magnificent strength in the face of abuse what does it. They can't fathom it. No, well, we know why, because you're doing it for attention. You and others have outfoxed everyone. Paxman harasses everyone. No, you haven't, because it's things like this which makes you go, yeah, we see how narcissistic you actually are, and that's just a bad thing. No one will take you seriously at all for posting this. And particularly Paxman. Paxman did quite a fair interview for you. And then you turn around and then start saying, oh, you're blaming the victim. Oh, you're blaming the victim. Sorry. Saying, why are you sharing your harassment when the police specifically tell you when you see this type of harassment to not share this stuff? Why are you sharing it is a legitimate question to ask. It's not harassment. To beat Gamergate as a former insider, and we'll address you soon, Mr. Former Insider. Remain defiant but aloof. You're better than these people. Remember that don't let them get to you. Remember there is no balance here. So don't engage them as an equal. Don't let others do so. Right, okay. So this person, this is not how you solve arguments. This is not how you engage in debates. If you're going to have a discussion with anyone, you've got to meet them halfway. And I'm sorry, you've got to treat them like an equal. Any debate you walk into, you have to treat them like an equal, and you have to treat them fair and reasonably. So this is my challenge, and if this was an actual former Gamergate that wrote this, I would love to talk to you. I seriously would. Let us have a sincere and honest discussion about games. I love talking about games. Apparently, you're a gamer as well, so let's have a talk about games. Let's have an open and honest discussion about games. That is my offer to you. Laugh off petty insults if you can, but never show them that you are hurt. They get off on it. It only encourages them. And that's called trolling. And they have something called Don't Feed the Trolls, which Brianna does not follow, and in herself has actually trolled people on Gamergate, but you know, that doesn't matter, does it? I'm sorry for the length, but it's perfect for a blog post, isn't it, Brianna? But I just wanted to let you know that there are people out there who you will ultimately beat and win over with your sheer integrity. You beat me, and I'm so glad. I'm leaving GG, and I will remain anonymous as I feel these people getting to me somehow. But if you wish to talk further, please do so. I will listen, and I would appreciate any advice on going further, on becoming the person that I should have been, as I'm quite ashamed of supporting what was an ugly, chaotic mess. In bold. I have rejected feminism from its very starting point, and I have done nothing but stand in the way of people. If I can help, let me know. Like I say, a confident, beautiful, intelligent woman worth 1 million of GG. Thanks, name withheld. Oh, good God. Good God. That is the most self-flagellating email or blog post I've ever read. If that is not written by Brianna, then good God. And seriously, my offer stands to you. I will honour your request. I will keep you completely anonymous. We'll call you Greg or Bob or whatever, you know, Mr. Whiskers or whatever you want to be called during the conversation, but we will keep you anonymous. And let us have an open and honest discussion. Because I'd actually love to have a genuine talk with you. I'd love to know more about why you've, you know, done a turn. And not to turn you back, I would genuinely love to know more about why you've turned. Now you say it's down to the harassment, but I want to have another genuine talk with you. Not only about this, but other things as well that are happening in Gamergate and games in general. Let's have an open, honest discussion. Again, my offer's on the table. Whether you take it or not is up to you.